These days, the compact crossover market is where buyers are spending all of their money. Now, just about every manufacturer makes one, and this is the latest one to get an update. It's the 2016 Hyundai Tucson.
The Tucson is completely redesigned for 2016, with a reworked interior and restyled body. There's a new powertrain choice as well, a 1.6-liter turbo bolted to a 7-speed dual-clutch transmission, which is a segment first. But otherwise, Hyundai hasn't really remixed the formula. The Tucson knows what its job is: to get you and your family around town quietly, cheaply, and relatively comfortably. And at that, it succeeds. It doesn't particularly stand out on the road, though. There are some highlights like the eyebrowed headlights and dramatic taillights, but it'll blend into any suburban neighborhood.
The interior on the Eco trim isn't really anything to write home about either. Sure, the seats are kind of decent and the dials are pretty nice, but everything you touch just feels kind of cheap, especially the door panels. The rear seats do fold completely flat though, which is nice when you're trying to load something pretty big, like a bike for example.
So what's the Tucson like to drive? Well, if nothing else, it's quiet. Even on these hard gas-saver tires, the Tucson glides down broken streets without complaint or fuss, and stretches of highway are dealt with in relative silence. It's comfortable, though not by any means fun.
Yeah, the brakes are mushy, the steering feel is pretty much non-existent, and it's not really the most exciting thing out there, but it's not meant to be. It's a compact crossover. But at least it's not that slow.
Now, this little engine seems like a joke, but the tiny 1.6 liter that you see in the Tucson Eco is actually turbocharged, so you get about 200 foot-pounds of torque. And honestly, that's not slow.
The Tucson shifts quickly and quietly around town, and it works well when you need a lot of power, but it's a bit awkward around suburban streets. It'll often search 2 or 3 gears for the appropriate amount of torque, but usually gives you too much. This segment is all about value, though. The Tucson in Eco trim is about $25,000, which is the same sort of money you'd pay for a decent Honda CR-V. Except in the Tucson, you don't really get much in the way of options or technology at that price. There's a backup camera, but no blind spot or lane departure system, and only the most basic radio setup. Other manufacturers offer these options, and in some cases a sunroof for the same cash. In this guise, though, the Tucson will hit 33 miles to the gallon on the highway and still has 6 airbags.
The Hyundai Tucson won't rekindle your love for driving, but it's good at what it's just trying to be: safe, reliable, and decently styled family transportation.